we're going to have to do what physics demands.
You're right that another element of this is that around the time that this issue was raised by a lot of scientists in the 1980s, you saw inequality in the country, inequality in wealth and income increasing. And a lot of players in the political and intellectual world pushing a different vision of the relationship between government and individuals, which really found some purchase. You want to just talk about that a bit?
Sure. Look, this was one of these perfect examples of bad timing. Right at the moment that the reigning ideology in America, the most important country on earth, at least during this period, right at the crucial moment, its reigning ideology became a kind of laissez-faire capitalism, unregulated capitalism, let markets solve all problems. Government, as Ronald Reagan said, isn't the solution, it's the problem, on and on and on. That meant that there was no appetite for doing the kind of regulation that we needed to do to try to rein in climate change when it was easy to do it. That organized selfishness, that's set us back, and set us back hard. We're beginning to see the reaction to it with things like the Green New Deal and a big new focus on dealing with inequality and with climate change and figuring out how they mesh together. It's just that we've waited a long time. The thing never to forget, Dave, about climate change is it's the first timed test that humans have ever had. And the time part is what scares me. It's too bad that this moment of ideological ascension just happened to come in the time and the place when there was enough leverage that perhaps it broke the planet in the process.
It also occurs to me that one of the fundamental problems in the past 30 years and ongoing is that, yes, we are one species and we share the same planet, but our instrument of policy is primarily nation states who compete with one another and, are unlikely or can be resistant to making change if others don't, or can point an accusing finger, like I'm not as bad as they are. How much of that is the problem, and how do we overcome it?
Well, it is a big problem, and it's one of the reasons that action's been so slow. I fear that the biggest part of that problem may be right here. I mean, you'll remember that the world finally managed to reach at least a beginning of an effort to do something about this at the Paris Accords in 2015. Not anywhere near a perfect agreement, but certainly a start, and the first time that all the countries of the world came together to pledge some kind of action. And then you'll recall that our president pulled us out of it. The country that has poured more carbon into the atmosphere than any other over the course of human history is also the only country on the planet unwilling to even pay lip service to taking on this problem. The good news is that some other countries seem to be sort of rising to the occasion. China is putting in renewable energy at a pace like we've never seen on the planet before. Maybe even more importantly, India, which is in energy terms probably where China was 15 or 20 years ago, seems like it might be poised to become the first great nation that, at least to some degree, skips over the coal-fired part of development and moves straight to renewable energy. The engineers have done such a remarkable job over the last decade. The price of a solar panel's fallen 90%, that it simply makes no economic sense anymore to keep doing what we're doing. And that's why, at the moment, India, for instance, is building far more renewable energy than they are conventionally powered power plants.